Welcome everyone. Welcome to Custom Breeze website. Today we are going to learn how to fill out a customs form for Australia. It'll be in two sections and the card is called IPC or Incoming Passenger Card. We are now on Custom Breeze website where you can find all the information that you need for the IPC card. First, as you can see, I'm on the website. And when I go to select a country, I click on it and it gives me a selection of countries, or I can just type it in. But I see that Australia is what I need, so I click on that and then it pulls it up. It shows me what their customs card is called, gives me information. But before I click on the incoming passenger card section, I just want to briefly show you what the website can give you. It can give you the country information, so I click on that and it gives you the airports, the name of the capital, so on and so forth. And then there are other useful links that you might want to know about, especially if you're a tourist or if you're going there for business. But for our use today, we're just going to learn about the incoming passenger card. So let me click on it. And here we have a section where it says you can download the PDF or you can fill out the form online. So let's click on fill out the form online. Okay, so here it is. We scroll down and this is what we have available. Okay, so first we have the name here, incoming passenger card and Australia. In the first section here where we have these triangles on their side, we have family surname. In this section, this is where you put your last name. So you put your last name in this section. The next section is your given name, and that is your first name. The next following section is the passport number. And this, guys, it's very important that you get this right. Make sure that you look at the numbers of your passport carefully, that you write it down correctly in the right order. You do not want to make a mistake on this. So this section right here, passport number, look at it carefully and write it down carefully. The next section, flight number or name of ship. For us, it's the flight number if you're on the plane. So this is easy. This, you just look at your boarding ticket, and on your boarding ticket, it will show what flight number it is that you have. The next is intended address in Australia. So where are you staying in Australia? Are you staying in an Airbnb? Are you staying at friends or family? Or are you staying at a hotel? And what is its address? So that's what you put here, where you're staying. Next question is, do you intend to live in Australia for the next 12 months? Well, for this, you either say yes or no. For the next question, if you are not an Australian citizen, these are the two questions that you have to answer if you are not. Do you suffer from tuberculosis, or do you have any criminal conviction? So these two questions are important for them. They want to know whether or not you're going to be a liability, or are they going to need to worry about you when you enter their country. So you either fill out yes or no, depending on what your situation is. Okay, so now we're going to scroll back up so we get to the other section on this side of the card. Okay, so next we have, and this is something that you have to look at. This is really at the start of the card. It says you must answer every question. If unsure, you have to put an X in the yes box. So this is important because sometimes we may have doubts or we're unsure about something. We don't have, the full information. So what Customs is asking you to do is, okay, when in doubt, put an X mark at yes. And guys, put an X mark there. Do not leave anything blank because it just becomes a hassle. And if you don't put a yes in the spot that you're unsure about, Customs will check on that. So put a yes when in doubt, and then when you get to Customs, it'll all kind of work itself out. Okay. So next question. Are you bringing into Australia, 1, goods that may be prohibited or subject to restriction, such as medicines, steroids, firearms, weapons of any kind, or illicit drugs? So you either say yes or no. Just as a note, questions 1 through 9, they're all about things that you carry in, whether it's goods, whether it's money, whether it's some kind of item. So these questions you should look at carefully and determine whether you have these items or not. And remember, when in doubt, just put an X at yes. So I'm going to go quickly through the questions, and then we're going to hit 10 and 11. So 1, goods that may be prohibited or subject to restrictions, such as medicines, steroids, firearms, weapons of any kind, or illicit drugs. Fill out what you need. Number 2 is important because they're asking you whether you're bringing in alcohol, cigarettes, or tobacco products. And, sometimes people don't even think about these items. They just buy them and they put them in their luggage and they forget about it. Don't forget about it. Make sure you mark it down on your card. Number 3, goods obtained overseas. Same thing. Make sure you look at this carefully, especially number 3, because it has a $sign on it. So if you have something that is more than $400, and this is including gifts, then you have to make sure that you declare it. The next one, goods, samples for business, commercial use, same thing, yes or no. Number 5 is also a monetary amount, which is very important to look at because they're basically saying for number 5, how much money are you carrying with you? If you have $10,000 or more, you have to declare it. So pay attention to that. So 3 and 5 are really talking about money and amounts. So if you have less, you don't declare it. If you have that amount and more, you have to declare it. Okay. Next one, it's about food. So dried, fresh, preserved, cooked, uncooked, yes or no, if you have it or if you don't. The next one is about, sometimes people bring in, they see a flower, they see a seed, they may want to plant some kind of seed when they get home, or, something that they picked up in a forest or whatever, or in a store. What Australia wants you to do is they want you to declare it. They want to know if you have these kind of things. So make sure you do that. So number 7, wooden articles, plants, parts of plants, traditional medicines or herbs, seeds, bulbs, straw, or nuts. Declare it if you have it. If you don't, don't. Next one, 8, animal parts or animals and animal products, including equipment, eggs, biological specimens, birds, fish, insects, shells, bee products, pet food. This is important to declare. So if you have it, put in the X at yes. If you don't, X at no. 9, soil or articles with soil attached, i.e. sporting equipment, shoes, etc. Same thing, yes or no. Now we're getting to number 10 and 11. These are important to pay attention to. So number 10 is asking, have you visited a rural area or been in contact with or near farm animals outside Australia in the past 30 days? This is important because basically what they're asking you is if there's an outbreak or of any kind, some kind of sickness, bird flu, this, that, or the other, whatever it may be, they want to know the point of origin. They want to know where you've been, what you've been touching, what you've been around, just in case something like that happens. It may be something that's benign, or it may be something that's really serious. But if something happens, it makes it easier for them to figure out things. So make sure you figure out that you write that section in, yes or no. And then number 11, it says, have you been to Africa or South America in the last 6 days? This is also important for you to fill out because they're very specific about that. So yes or no. Now we get to the bottom section of this side of the card. So here it's asking for your signature. Make sure you sign your name. Make sure in the next section you give your day, month, and year in which you are filling out this card. So make sure you do that. Don't forget. Now let's go to the next section of this card, of this IPC card. Okay, and the next section is very short, but it's important that you do not, that you look at it carefully and you fill out the appropriate sections on this side of the card. So the next one is asking you, please fill out in English, and is asking you, in which country did you board this flight or ship? So where did you start your journey? That's what they're asking. Did you start your journey to go to Australia from United States, from Korea, from China, from Africa, from Sweden, from France, any place like that? They're asking you, where did you start this trip from? So fill out this section. The next is, what is your usual occupation? What do you do for a living? That's what they're asking you. You know, are you a teacher? Are you, an engineer? That's what they want you to fill out in this section. The next section is asking your nationality. This section is asking for your nationality as shown on your passport. The next section is your date of birth, day, month, year. Okay, now we're going to scroll back up to this section that is in A, B, and C. So look at this section carefully because it's asking very specific things. And section A is asking, migrating permanently to Australia. That means, are you moving to Australia for the long haul permanently? If so, then you mark an X in this box. The next section is B, and it's for visitors or temporary entrant. So it would be someone that's vacationing, someone that's doing like quick business or any kind of visit. That's this section. So you fill out this box with an X saying, okay, this section pertains to me. And then you scroll down to what they're asking you. The first thing that they're asking you is your intended length of stay in Australia. So they're asking years, months, or days. Fill that out. Next is your country of residence. Where do you originally live? Where is it that you lived before you came to Australia? That's what they're asking you. The next section is your main reason for coming to Australia. And guys, look at what it says here. It says X one only. So here you only want to X one of these boxes. So from boxes 1 through 8, you only select one, even if your stay is for business and for holiday and for education and for whatever else that's on this list. What this card is asking you is to select the one that is most important to you. So select only one. Okay, now we're going into C. And C is asking you, resident returning to Australia. If you are a resident, someone who lives in Australia, and you are returning there from whatever other country that you were at for whatever reason, this is the section that you fill out. You put an X in that box. And then here, you go and you make sure that you fill out the country that you were staying before your return to Australia, that you had spent the most time. So that's important. So we're at the end of the card. We finished filling out the card, but very important, make sure that you check and double check all that you've written in, all the boxes that you've marked X in. Make sure you check both sides, make sure you've signed, make sure you've dated, and make sure that you've filled out the right sections that pertain to you. So that is all for today. I hope that this information has been informative. And to remember, if you have any questions or if you have any other destinations that you are going to and you need to fill out customs forms for those destinations, just go to customsbreeze.com. That's CUSTOMSBREEZE.com for all of your travel customs cards needs. Okay, that's it for today, guys. And it was a pleasure, and see you next time.